Maryland, a state on the east coast of the U.S., and I'm so happy to be here representing the National Career Development Association, which supports PAC, a great organization with my colleagues, Carrie. I want to introduce myself to you all this morning, and since we are a small group, I'm hoping that our interpreter team here can help you introduce yourself to me. Today I will be talking about how we can help students improve their competitiveness and some strategies for teachers.
大家好，我是 Lakeisha Mathews。我来自美国的东岸马里兰州这一部分。今天呢，很高兴能够代表 NCDA， 就是国际生涯发展学会，来跟各位分享。我们 NCDA 呢跟这个 PAC 出版公司呢长期的合作，然后今天也有2位团队成员跟我们一起来。接下来我想因为今天人数不多，我们等一下可以请大家稍微简单自我介绍一下自己的这个岗位身份这样子。今天的主题，今天要跟各位分享的就是如何帮助学生提升他们的竞争力，教师这边可以运用哪一些策略。
So the National Career Development Association, otherwise known as NCDA, is the premier association empowering career professionals around the globe. We have members in the United States in all areas of career education, so K through 12, higher education, research, as well as business and industry.
NCDA 其实就是要帮助全球的专业人士去推动他们的生涯发展。所以除了在美国之外，我们在全球都有进行业务。涵盖范围也从就是基本的这个12年义务教育到高等教育，到研究所，到这个专业社会人士的部分。
Our goal is to empower any individuals helping students or job seekers make career decisions, and we offer a variety of publications, webinars, and training opportunities for those professionals.
所以不管是个人，或者说我们的这个学员，他们有求职或是生涯发展、生涯规划的任何需求，我们都会尽力提供协助以及咨询。我们旗下也有非常多的这个出版刊物也有进行相关的研究，或是办理这个线上的培训、研讨会等等。
And a little bit about me that I would like to share this morning. So first and foremost, I am the president of NCDA, and I also have been on the NCDA board for about 6 years, providing leadership to our industry. And I'm also the former president of my state, the Maryland Career Development Association.
稍微自我介绍一下我目前是现任 NCDA 的这个主席，过去也是担任 NCDA 的这个委员。之前呢也是这个 NCDA， 也就是马里兰生涯发展协会的主席。
I've had the privilege of writing in several publications, including writing the intro for our new publication, Career Coaching, Fundamentals, Applications, and Future Directions. I'm quoted in a new book coming out in August, Transformative Negotiation, talking about helping job seekers and students negotiate their salary. And I wrote chapter 1 in a book called Find Your Fit.
介绍一下我的相关的这个出版著作。首先就是第一本 NCDA 出版的这个职涯教练，里面就是讲解就是一体原理应用以及未来实务的这个手册。第二本呢就是里面有我的一段这个访谈在里面谈的是薪酬的协商跟协调。第三本呢是我撰写的第1章，叫做 Find Your Fit， 就是如何找到适合自己的这个职涯的生涯。
And now let me tell you a little bit about my training in the career development field. I have a doctorate in higher education leadership innovation. My dissertation and research work is around career engagement with college students. And I have a number of designations that I have pursued throughout my career. Certified Career Services Provider. I'm a Facilitating Career Development Instructor. I'm a Certified Career Coach and a Certified Resume Writer. I'm also certified to administer the MBTI and Strong Interest Inventories, which are the career assessments we utilize on my campus. I'm certified to train in business etiquette, a master trainer in a curriculum called Workplace Excellence, and certified, my most recent designation, a Certified Salary Negotiation Specialist.
那这边讲一下这个培训训练的这个背景及相关的这个资历哦。我的博士学位呢是在这个高等教育领导力以及创新。那主要研究的这个领域就是如何协助大学生去帮助他们做这个生涯跟职涯的这个规划。那相关的证照可以看到下面包含职涯服务的规划师，还有生涯发展规划的这个就是咨询顾问，还有专业的这个生涯教练、专业履历撰写师，以及可以有认证的资格去从事这个16型人格测验以及实施职业兴趣代表的施测。那另外呢，他也是就是商务领域这门课的这个专业认证讲师，以及职场卓越的认证讲师。那最后一个就是这个专业认证的这个薪酬协商专家。
So a little bit about where I work at. I am the director of the Career and Internship Center at the University of Baltimore. We are what you call an urban institution, which means that we are in the heart of our city. We are what you would call a commuter school. We do not have dormitories, and the majority of our students are adult learners. So we have students coming straight out of high school, and some who are returning workers. We have about 4,000 students in all of the levels: undergraduate, your first 4 years, graduate, an additional 2 years, and doctoral. And we are considered an anchor institution for our city to support students in our city.
这边也稍微介绍一下我服务的这个学校，就是巴尔的摩大学。那我是在这个职涯以及实习中心的这个主任。那巴尔的摩大学它其实是我们所谓的这个 urban institution， 就是它在市中心的这个一所学校。那它也是所谓的 commuter school， 是通勤学校，学校是不提供学生宿舍的。那我们的学生其实范围非常的广，除了一般的这种学龄的这个学生之外，我们也有回流教育社会人士回来在念书的。那在这个提供的授课方面，除了4年制的学士班，我们也有提供2年制的这个硕博班。那巴尔的摩大学呢，算是市区的这个指标性学术机构。
And our institution trains students in these industries: communication and design, law, justice and public affairs, business and entrepreneurship, cybersecurity, gaming and technology, and psychology, health and human services.
那我们这个职涯中心其实负责的这个领域蛮多元的，主要有6个。第一个就是通讯跟设计，再来就是法律与正义，还有公共事务，再来就是商管跟这个创业，再来就是资安、游戏以及科技发展。那最后第6个呢，就是心理健康、心理卫生以及人类服务。
And this is a picture of our campus. As you can see, we're in the city, and my office is actually in this building right here.
那其实背景就是我们的校区可以看到就在市中心，然后Lakeisha她的办公室就在那一栋。
All right, what services do we offer in our career center? So on our campus, there's the counseling or mental health center is different from the career center. So we do everything career, from providing career coaching individually for our students, to providing them with special events, as well as providing on-demand virtual resources, connecting them to employers, and connecting with them on social media.
那我们学校其实除了职涯中心，也另外有一个这个心理咨询中心，2个是不一样的。那我们中心主要提供的就是在职涯辅导这一部分。那可以看到说我们提供的，例如说是 career coaching， 就是生涯职涯的这个教练，然后也会办理相关的活动，提供相关的课程，然后再来就是提供线上的这个职涯资源然后做这个企业跟学生的之间的媒合，还有这个我们也有经营社群媒体的内容。
Every semester, our semesters are 15 weeks, about 500 students come to see us and work with us individually. And we process over about 9,000 jobs, job postings that employers want our students to apply for.
那每个学期，我们这边1学期是15周，那每个学期我们服务的学生数可以在左上角看到，就是大概近600位。那右上角可以看到说，我们协助的这个帮忙企业PO这些求职的这个工作数大概是9673个。
We have 3 promises that we make our students on our campus, that we will help them to cultivate their career development, that we will engage our entire campus when talking about careers, and that we will help connect our students to employers and alumni.
那我们职涯中心的这个使命，我们的宗旨就是协助推进学生的职涯发展。那同时呢，也运用学校的这个利害关系人的相关资源来做这件事情。那希望能够发挥雇主、校友跟学生之间能够创造这个纵效。
We also make sure that we integrate career development into the classroom. It's very hard to get to students because they're very, very busy, and some are afraid of career services. So we work with faculty. This is our general education, meaning these are the competencies that we want all of our students to learn about in the classroom, and we make sure that career is involved with all of those competencies.
那我们也知道学生他们平常就是上课很忙，那有时候也可能没时间，或者说不敢来做这个职涯的咨询，所以我们其实把自己的这个核心的能力融入了一般学生的这个通识课程里面。
All of our classes are intended to help students with their information literacy, understanding how to find information, process it, oral communication, global awareness, and their technological fluency.
那所以几个比较重要的这个技能，第一个就是学生的资讯素养，他们能不能找到，能不能够判读需要的资讯，再来就是口语表达的能力，再来就是全球的这个国际观，那最后一个就是在使用科技的能力。
This is my team, at least 3 of them. Every student at the University of Baltimore is assigned to a career coach or a career specialist. So when you come to our campus, you have someone who can help you with your career from your freshman year to your senior year.
那这个是我的团队成员至少有这3位是主要核心人物。那每个学生其实入学从大1到大4都会有一位就是专门辅导他职涯发展的所谓导师或是专员。
Each of the career communities is matched to one of our colleges. So our business career community works with students in our Merrick School of Business. Our public affairs career community works with our College of Public Affairs. And our arts and sciences career community works with our College of Arts and Sciences.
那我们就是以这个学院跟领域来区分我们的团员、我们的同仁负责的范围。那像是左上角的话就是负责商学院、商管；那右边的话就是跟公共事务相关；那下面的话就是艺术、人文还有科学领域。
All right. Any questions about the Career Center and the University of Baltimore and anything I've talked about so far?
那目前不知道各位老师针对就是刚刚对于巴尔的摩职涯中心整个学校的这个介绍，有没有想要有问题要就教？
No? Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so let's talk about how we help our students become effective and competitive. And the first thing I'd like to talk about are global workplace trends.
那因为今天的主题就是要谈怎么样帮助学生培养他们的竞争力，所以我们就先从全球这个就业市场的这个人力趋势谈起。
The World Employment Confederation talks about what is happening in the global labor market, and it's very important for us as educators to understand what our students will face. There's a lot of technological change that's taking place, shifting labor demographics, changing employee expectations, diversification of forms of work or how we do our work, different business models for how work is done, and changing demands on the skills that our students need to have.
那我们身在教育界一定要了解说，这个全球就业市场它有一些什么样的变化。那根据这个全球就业联盟他们发布的这个报告，其实就指出说，现在全球的就业市场有以下这个6个主要的变化。第一个就是科技不断的日新月异在改变，再来就是我们的劳动力市场结构也在改变。那员工对于雇主的期待也不同了。那再来工作的形态、内容也慢慢的越来越多元化，企业的这个商业模式也开始在转型。那最后你需要的这个工作技能也不一样，跟以前不一样。
I have a question. Out of all of these changes that are going on around the world, which ones do you think impacts how depend on the most, if anyone could tell me?
这边就想问一下大家，就是说在这6个这个变革趋势里面，对于台湾来讲，影响最大的可能是哪一个因素？有没有哪一位老师可以说说看
Technology change. Any others? Good.
还有其他？
And everyone agree technology is a big one? Skills. Change in demand of skills. Very good. Thank you so much. So here in Taiwan, the technological change and the change in demand for skills are things that we need to pay attention to for our students.
所以刚刚2位老师就讲到说，科技日新月异，然后再来就是说职场必备的能力也跟以前不一样。
In the United States, it's the changing employee expectations and diversification of forms of work. Because COVID, a lot of businesses went to teleworking, and now a lot of employees and students want to work from home.
那以美国来讲，其实2大因素，一个就是员工的期待改变，再来就是工作的形态变得多元。主要是因为疫情的影响，现在很多的这个人是在家上班，那很多员工、很多学生就觉得那我不要回去了这样子。
My campus now is hybrid. I go into the office twice a week, and I work from home 3 days a week.
那以我自己来讲，我们现在在学校就是采混合式的这个办公，所以我每周就是2天要去学校办公，然后3天可以在家工作。
Okay, in addition, COVID is still having a big impact on the labor market around the world. There are a lot of different regional recessions taking place and a lot of inflation in many of our countries.
那再来，其实疫情虽然说现在是疫后的时代，但是疫情的影响还是挥之不去的。我们看到世界很多的这个领域、很多的区域还是有经济衰退然后通膨飞涨的这个状况。
In the U.S., the industries that have been impacted the most are hospitality, as well as our healthcare system and our education system.
那在美国3大重创的产业就是旅宿业，然后医疗业，然后再来就是这个教育。
In addition to that, the recovery among different countries is very, very different. In some countries, unemployment is still very high because of COVID. And in the U.S. right now, it is now leveling out. A lot of people have gone back to work, but they're leaving one job to go to another job.
那其实，在这个疫情后，我们也看到说每个区域它复苏的情况是不太一样的。有一些国家他们的失业率还是非常高。那以美国来讲，就是说虽然有一些人他回到了职场，但是他的职涯跑道已经完全不一样。
And around the world, we're finding that women were impacted more because of the pandemic, if they had to stop working or because of childcare. So in the U.S., schools closed, and then they were virtual. And for women, some of them had to leave the labor force.
那我们也发现说，纵观全球，疫情对于女性的影响还是比男性大，主要是因为，例如说有时候学校采视讯远距上课，那妈妈就要在家负担照顾小孩的责任。
So one of the things that's happening on a global scale is the United Nations has created what we call SDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals. And one of the things that amazes me is that career development is integrated into almost all of the SDGs.
那联合国在几年前有发布这个永续发展目标，我们所称的这个 SDG 目标，那其实就可以看到说17个目标里面有非常多都跟这个生涯发展是密切相关。
The United Nations is saying that in order to create a better world, we need to have no poverty, we need to have good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality.
所以在这边，联合国就说，如果今天要打造一个更好的人类世界，我们需要就是消弭贫穷，我们需要良好的这个公卫系统，还有人类心理要有健康福祉，然后再来就是高素质的这个教育以及性别平等。
Along with economic growth, industry and innovation, reduced inequality, sustainable cities.
那第二排就可以看到，也要有良好的这个好的工作，好的这个经济成长，再来就是产业创新、基础建设。那第10个就是要减少这个社会不平等的这个现象。第11个就是发展永续的城市、永续的这个社区。
And peace and justice and partnerships around the world to accomplish these goals.
那另外2个相关的就是第16公平、正义，还有很强健的这个制度。那第17呢，就是全球的这个伙伴关系。
And what is so important is that as educators and as career practitioners, our work plays a part in all of the starred areas of bringing about a better world.
所以我们今天身在教育界，身在这个生涯辅导、生涯咨询界其实如果能够我们的角色就是在这些领域、这些目标发挥我们的这个功能，然后去创造一个更好的世界。
If students don't know how to make career choices, they're then not able to find what we call meaningful work, where they are satisfied, that then helps us have better communities and countries.
今天学生他要发展的好，他必须要能够做出好的生涯规划、好的职涯选择，才能够做自己喜欢，然后让他有成就感的工作，然后共创一个更好的社会、更好的世界。
Okay, so in addition to the workplace trends that are happening around the globe, we have to also understand what employers want from our students and for us to how they want us to train our students.
那所以除了了解就业人才市场的整个状况之外，我们也要从雇主端去了解说，那雇主想要找什么样的人才，然后再去训练我们的学生。
I spend a lot of time in my career center talking to companies, and they always say that their students don't understand what they want from the company, and sometimes the companies don't understand how to describe the work to students.
那我们在职涯中心跟这个企业主聊天的时候，就常常发现说，企业身为雇主跟学生之间的一个问题就在于说，企业不知道如何把自己的期待传达给学生，然后之间有一个这个需求期待的落差。
My students say, there are no jobs, and the employers say, there are no workers, and they're both wrong, and it's our job to help clarify that for them.
所以雇主会觉得说，我现在缺工，但学生会觉得说，我现在找不到工作。那所以我们的工作呢，就是把这个两端媒合在一起。
So what do employers want? So for us, there's a great organization called NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and they have studied what employers want from students and workers in the U.S.
那在这部分呢，我们在美国有一个单位叫做 NACE， 就是全美的这个大学与雇主协会，他们就有进行调查，了解说，企业跟学生对于就业市场的期待是什么。
Every year, they ask the employers what they want from students as far as their skills, and this is what comes up consistently. They want students who know how to manage their career and self-development, who know how to communicate, and who have critical thinking skills.
那所以他们这个每年都会做这个调查，那总结下来，他们认为说，就是雇主觉得学生应该人才必备的职场竞争力有哪些？那第一行就可以看到说，是职涯，还有自我发展的能力、沟通力，还有批判性思考。
They also want students who know how to, who understand equity and inclusion, have leadership skills, and have professionalism skills.
那再来第二行就是看到说要能够了解公平跟包容的这个价值观，要有领导力，那另外也要有专业素养。
And employers say students need to know how to work in a team, and they need to know how to use technology effectively.
雇主也认为说，团队合作的精神，还有懂得运用各种科技也是非常重要的。
Everything I do in my office is to help students build these skill sets.
所以我们职涯中心其实就是要帮助学生拥有、培养出这些技能。
NACE has also defined what it means to be career ready, and they basically say that career readiness is a foundation from which to demonstrate requisite core competencies that broadly prepare the college educated for success in the workplace and lifelong career management.
那 NACE 刚刚其实也有定义什么叫做 career readiness， 我们说的这个职涯准备度，他就说职涯准备度其实就是说你能够一个学生能够去证明他有足够的必备的这个核心能力，能让自己身为一个社会新鲜人找到职场的成功，追求职场的成功，那甚至是更长远终身的这个生涯的成功。
So many colleges in the U.S. say students don't just come to get a good education, they come to become career ready.
所以在美国常常会觉得说，大学其实不只是完成这4年的大学教育，而是帮助你培养能够开创自己成功生涯的这个必备技能。
So let's talk about these competencies. First, career and self-development. NACE says that students must be able to proactively develop oneself and one's career through continual personal and professional learning.
那第一个就是刚刚说的这个职涯跟自我发展。那在 NACE 的定义里面，就是说学生要能透过个人及专业上持续的学习，不断的自我提升，精进自己的这个职涯发展。
So because the labor market changes so quickly, we want our students to know how to respond to that change by having a learning mindset, that they always have to be obtaining professional development even once their college education is over.
那也因为就业市场的变化是非常快的，我们会希望说学生有一个积极学习的心态，能够随着因应时事的变化去持续追求专业发展。
One part of this is that students must have a strong understanding of themselves and what their strengths are.
那要能够做到这件事，其实学生要了解自己，要知道自己的优势在哪里。
So one thing I always ask my students that I want to ask you is, what are your top 3 strengths? So think about it really quick. What are your top 3 strengths? And then let's share.
那我常常就问学生说，你要先告诉我你的3大优势、3大优点是什么？这样子。
Would anyone be able to share what their top 3 strengths are?
那在场有没有人自愿可以分享一下自己认为的3大优势？
It's the same when I ask my students, quiet.
我问学生的时候，他们反应也是这样子。
As a labor market, it's very important that all of us understand our individual role that we bring to a company. And as you can see, this was hard for you, so this is really hard for students.
那如果说我们身为这个教职员都觉得很难的时候，其实对于学生来讲，那更是难的。尤其他们要找到说我自己一个人对于一家企业、对我的老板到底能有什么贡献的时候，这一定是要思考的问题。
So one of the first strategies of best practice is to make sure that students know and have an awareness of their strength and develop themselves, and that they can articulate it to employers.
所以在讲这个自我发展职场就业力这一部分其实很重要，就是学生他要能够确切的知道我的优势、我的专长到底是什么，那能够把这件事、把自己的优点清楚的跟自己的雇主表达。
So I challenge you again, turn around facing someone and tell them at least one of your top strengths.
所以如果说不好意思直接讲出来的话，你可以跟隔壁的人讲，就至少讲一个你觉得自己的优点是什么。
Carrie?
主动积极
Being proactive, thank you. Anybody else?
He said he's young.
He's young, that's a strength. Awesome. One more. Yes. Listen, excellent. Excellent. So you see, this was hard. If we don't like to do it, students don't like to do it, but it's very, very important.
所以可以看到说，如果我们自己都觉得很难，然后 后就是不太想要去做，那学生更是这样子觉得。
Okay, next, to help students be competitive, they need to be strong communicators. Nate says this is to be able to clearly and effectively exchange information, ideas, facts, and perspectives.
第二个就是沟通力，那在 NACE 的定义里面，就是能够清楚、有效的去跟他人交换资讯啊、意见啊、事实啊以及个人的观点。
The U.S. labor market requires students to be very extroverted, working with people and communicating in writing and in public speaking.
那其实，在美国就业市场，雇主就是很看重一个人他到底有没有这个口语表达的沟通能力，必须要是很外向，能够很积极的、清楚的说出自己的意见跟想法。
In addition to find a job in the United States, you have to do an interview. And students find interviewing very, very hard. But interviewing really relies on how strong their communication skills are.
那很多时候求职都是需要经过面试，所以面试其实考验的就是你的口语表达能力，你怎么行销自己。
So it's important that we train students to not just communicate in the classroom, but to understand how to communicate outside the classroom with employers.
所以在教学上，我们不只是要让学生能够在课堂上表达自己的想法，也要让他们必备说，你今天走出去到外面的市场，到外面的环境，能够清楚的表达自己。
Alright, next is critical thinking, and Nate says this is the ability to identify and respond to needs based upon an understanding of situational context.
那第三个能力就是批判性的思考的能力，在 NACE 的定义里面，就是你能够根据整个情境、根据整个逻辑的脉络去回应，去做出正确的这个反应。
Many employers look for students to be able to make quick decisions and to be problem solvers. That is what is needed to be competitive, to hear a problem and to be able to give a solution.
所以很多雇主会希望说，学生有这个快速决策的能力跟解决问题的能力，所以学生要能够找出问题是什么，然后提供一个解决方法。
Many students don't understand that employers want to be competitive. They only focus on themselves in America and don't realize that they're coming to the company to help the company also be competitive. So you have to manage your own competitiveness and you have to manage the company's competitiveness, and it all links back to critical thinking.
那在美国，其实很多学生他看到的是自己，他想到的是自己怎么样提升竞争力，但他没有想到说，我今天要做的也是要帮助我这家企业，帮助我的老板提升整个公司的这个竞争力。所以不管是个人，不管是组织的成绩，都是很重要的。
And in America, we want our students to be able to do this fast. Americans like everything fast. We like everything quick. McDonald's, KFC, Subway. We want everything that we do to happen really quick. So our students have to know how to come up with solutions really quickly.
那另外，在美国今天有这么多速食餐饮业，就是指出我们要的就是要有效率，要的就是快。所以我们也希望说，学生在思考的时候能够很快就丢出答案，想到这个解方。
And then there's equity and inclusion. So obviously the U.S. is one of the most diverse countries. So our students will go into a workplace and they will work with all sorts of people from all over the world with different cultures. Some of them will work in bilingual environments. They will work with people of different ages. So it's very important if our students are going to be successful that they understand equity and inclusion.
另外一个很重要的这个价值观就是了解公平，然后有这个包容心。因为在美国，我们知道是一个多元文化的社会。你今天在工作场合，你可能遇到来自世界各地、有着不同文化、说着不同语言、年龄不同的这个同事，所以学生一定要去了解这个包容、尊重这种价值观。
Unfortunately, in the U.S., we also have a lot of conversation about racism and making sure that everyone has a fair chance. In the U.S., everyone does not have a fair chance. So we are doing a lot of teaching to our students of how we can make our workplaces better so that everyone has a fair chance for social mobility.
那很可惜的就是说，在美国种族歧视也是一个很大的这个问题，所以我们也希望说帮助学生了解，在职场上我们应该要创造一个公平的环境，让大家都有社会阶级流动往上爬的这个可能。
So we want our students to not only understand who they are and how to make their company better, but how to make their community better.
所以我们会希望说，学生不只了解自己，了解他们可以为自己的企业服务的企业做些什么，那同时再发挥更大的影响力，让自己的整个社区都更好。
And then there's leadership. All of my students want to be the boss.
再来就是这个领导力，其实每个学生可以的话都想当老板。
So we have to tell them that you won't be the boss right away. You have to develop your leadership skills in order to become the manager or the supervisor on the job.
但是我们也要告诉学生说，不可能马上空降当老板，你要先有领导力、领导技能养起来了，你才可能慢慢的变成主管、变成经理。
On our campuses, we provide a lot of opportunities for students to practice their leadership. And in our office, we provide leadership assessments and training as a part of career development so that the students who want that sort of advancement know how to display the right skill set when they go into the workplace.
那我们职涯中心其实就有提供领导力相关的培训课程，不管是提供例如说评量啊，或者是说相关的这个训练。所以说，如果学生他们希望往领导职的方向走的话，就能够帮助他们培养相关的领导技能。
In America, to be a leader means that you can inspire others, you can persuade people, and you can motivate others.
那领导者对我们来讲，其实就是能够去激励、能够去说服、能够去鼓励其他人，然后往一个共同愿景、共同目标迈进的这个能力。
Can someone tell me what it means to be a leader in Taiwan? What are the qualities of a leader?
那能不能也请在座各位老师分享一下，在台湾领导者的特质大概有哪些？
有个人魅力。
Oh, charisma. Oh, wonderful. What else?
还有吗？
Is charisma the top one? Does everyone agree with charisma?
大家觉得个人魅力是最重要的吗？大家都同意吗？还是有没有其他的？
Vision. Okay, having a vision for the company or whatever we're trying to accomplish. Excellent. Very much similar to American culture and what Americans look for in leaders. And this is why students have to be trained. So for us, this is a part of the career development process.
其实跟我们美国的文化蛮像的，所以一定要培养学生有这些能力、这些特质。
And then there is professionalism. There are different words that we use in the industry for professionalism. We need to simplify it. Career ready, employability skills, professional, and the list goes on.
那其实这个 professionalism 专业素养，我们在美国也有很多种不同的讲法。有人会说是就业力，有人会说是职涯准备度等等等等。
So these are really the work habits that students have. And in America, this is really hard because Americans like to do things their own way.
那右边这边就可以看到几个这个专业素养的行为举例啊。但其实在美国很难去有一个定义，因为大家都想要走出自己的路，也喜欢有自己的想法。
So we raise our children at home that they can say what they want, they can do what they want, and they can be what they want, but then we send them into the workplace, and that's not the case.
所以我们今天在家教小朋友，就是说，你今天想要做什么？你想要成为什么样的人都 OK。结果他们到了职场上，发现说，不是这样子。
So in the Career Center, we have to spend a lot of time teaching them professionalism skills, what the employer expects of dress and wardrobe, how you greet people in the company, the importance of things like even showing up on time.
所以在这个职涯中心呢，我们就是很重要的就是重视学生要有这个专业素养、专业态度，包含你在职场上适合的服仪穿搭，你的商务礼仪等等。
The way this shows up the most and we need to prepare students is with generations in the workplace. So in my office, I have 20-year-olds and 40-year-olds. The 20-year-olds want to wear sweatpants to work. The 40-year-olds want to wear business casual or suits.
那其实一个很重要的因素就是年龄，我们有时候会跟不同年龄层的同事一起工作嘛。那像在我们职涯中心，我们有20岁的同仁就喜欢穿运动裤来上班，那40岁的同仁可能就会喜欢穿那种 business casual 休闲的正式、半正式的服装。
So we have to teach them that they cannot wear their sweatpants, that they have to dress in business casual ways when they come to work.
那所以我们就要告诉这个20岁的同仁说，不行，就是运动裤不 OK， 你一定要穿就是半正式，至少是 business casual 的层级来上班这样。
America is also not a very modest country.
那美国其实也是一个有点臭屁的国家。
So I visited Egypt in February, very modest country. Everything is covered up, no skin showing. In America, very different. So we have to teach the students that what you might wear to class or out on the street is different from what you wear to work.
好，其实不能讲像是臭屁，他刚刚讲比较像是衣服的穿搭。所以在美国，其实就是大家比较展现自我的时候穿的比较露这样子。那像是Lakeisha 她日前去埃及演讲，就发现那边的女性她其实是常常穿长袍，然后把自己身体的部位遮住的。所以在这个职场上，我们也要告诉学生说，哪一些穿搭是得体的，你要配合文化，你要配合整个环境跟氛围。
And then there is teamwork. In America, most of our companies, you will work with other people, even if you work from home. Most environments are very social.
那在美国，其实工作上也常常需要团队合作。那即使是就是在家办公，你也是常常需要跟同事一起讨论。
Students have to learn in America. We almost have to teach them how to work with others because we have a very independent mindset.
那因为美国就是崇尚个人主义，所以我们要告诉学生说，我们要教学生如何跟他人合作。
It's important to be successful in the workplace to know how to work with your supervisor and your coworkers, as well as any clients that you may have. So we spend a lot of time talking to our students about teamwork and assigning them group work.
那在职场要成功其实学生他们不只要学跟同事合作，还要跟主管、跟自己的客户互动合作。所以我们中心其实花了非常多的时间去教学生要培养团队精神啊，然后让他们做这些小组的作业跟活动。
And I always ask my students when I teach, do they like group work? And they always say no.
那我也常问学生说，你喜欢分组活动吗？然后学生就是不喜欢。
So I ask you, do students in Taiwan like group work?
那我也想要了解说，大家觉得台湾的学生喜欢分组活动吗？
No, okay, so here too, so that means it's so important that we teach students and we give them that experience to work with others and in teams because they will have to do that when they go into the workplace.
但是因为今天进入职场，跟人合作是难免的，所以学生一定要具有这种跟别人合作的这个能力。
Technology, we all know, is everywhere. There's pretty much no industry in America that you will work in where you will not use a computer.
那科技的使用当然也非常重要。今天在美国，基本上每个行业、每个产业一定都会用到那个电脑，就是基本上找不到一家公司是完全没有在用电脑。
In addition, in the U.S., for students to find a job, they have to use the computer to typically apply. The applications are all online. Most of our students are encouraged to have a LinkedIn account. They are also encouraged to search companies on social media.
那在美国，其实学生一定都会用电脑去找工作、去求职、去申请任何的这个工作。那很多学生他们也会有自己的这个 LinkedIn 的账号去行销自己，就是一个这个专业商务人士的这个网站。
We do a lot of training explaining to students how to use social media personally and professionally.
那其实我们也有教学生说要怎么样经营社群媒体，就是不管你是经营自己的账号，或是你的专业账号，都有就是提供学生相关的这个建议。
Our students are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok.
那所以我们学生常用的就是像是 Facebook, LinkedIn, 然后 Twitter 跟 TikTok.
We have to explain to them that whatever you put out there, whatever you say on social media can impact your career.
那所以要给学生灌输一个观念，就是说你今天讲什么话，你今天 po 在网络上的东西，都可能会对你的这个职涯生涯之路有影响。
There have been some professionals in America who have lost their jobs because of something they said on social media, or someone took a video of something they did and it went viral.
那在美国，就是有一些案例，就是说你因为自己在网络上讲的一些话，或是你的一些影片被放到网络上，然后你就乌纱帽之路就断了这样子。
So now in America, in order to get a job, you have to know how to have an in-person brand, but you also have a virtual brand.
所以在美国，其实经营自己线下这个人与人之间的互动，跟线上你的虚拟的身份、虚拟的品牌都是很重要的。
I have a question. Are any of you on LinkedIn?
那想请问在座大家有 LinkedIn 的这个页面吗？
Yes. Okay, so we have one person on LinkedIn. Carrie, is that something that you teach students here, using something like LinkedIn to find a job?
Not exactly to use LinkedIn, but we have like government, they have the career platform.
Okay.
You can use it, and also you can have a privacy like one for human banks. Like.
Okay, job seeking bank. Tell them.
那所以那感觉是应该是文化的差异，因为在美国就是比较常用 LinkedIn，那我们在台湾应该就是常用，比如说104求职网或者111人力银行这样去找工作。
Thank you, Carrie. All right, and last but not least, when it comes to being competitive, we have something in our education system that we call high impact practices.
那另外，在我们这个教育体制下面，其实也有几个就是做法，或是最佳实务，它是能够真的很有效去帮助到学生的，我们叫做 high impact practices.
These are practices that have been research proven to help students learn better.
那这些做法呢，是经过研究证实，能帮助学生学得更好的一些措施。
Of importance to the Career Center are internships, collaborative work, capstone experiences, and e-portfolios.
那对我们职涯中心来讲，我们发现有几个比较好的成效比较好的，第一个就是这个实习，那再来就是这种合作式的学习，再来就是下面这个 capstone experience， 就是这种总整式，这种让学生在最后迈向最高学习巅峰的这种学习体验。那最后一个就是线上的这个学习历程档案。
The research shows that if students participate in these activities, it has a greater impact and transfer of learning than lecturing in the classroom.
那研究就发现说，透过这几个活动，学生能够学到的就是不只是被动式的听讲座，而是能够真的学到带着走的能力。
So on my campus, some of our students are actually required to participate in an internship as a part of their graduation requirements.
所以在我们学校有一些课就是实习课，就是必修。
And in our high schools, community-based learning is required. All of our high school students in America have to complete community service in order to graduate.
那高中的话呢，就会常常有这种社区服务的这种课程，也是必修。
All right, we'll take a break for questions right here before we move on.
那我们这边稍微暂停一下，不知道在座各位老师有没有什么问题？
No questions? Okay. All right. So understanding the student perspective. Oh, yes.
Okay, I have a question. I speak in Chinese. Okay. 就是我知道说现在那个阳明交大现在我们在推那个学习历程档案，对不对？对啊，那你们有没有兴趣想要进一步了解一下他们的学长跟我们学长有什么不一样？老师知道我们现在在推学习历程档案吗？对啊，我知道说我们好像从去年底开始就开始建立那个学习历程档案的平台嘛，对不对？对啊，希望给学生更多的一些丰富的一个学习历程的一个经验，但是那个是不是有需要是说让Lakeisha因为他们讲到嘛，就学习档案这个东西对于学生的就业准备也是个非常重要的一个环节。对，那他们是怎么做的？那我们老师可以怎么去运用这个东西？我觉得可以，如果之后有机会的话，可能也可以请Lakeisha稍微分享一下。
问一下，因为像比如说108，现在108课纲，高中到大学，所以就会有学生反映说课业已经很重，但还要去做这种学习历程，不知道国外有没有类似这种经验？就是学反应。
Great question. So with the e-portfolio, the main benefit for our students is that they're building evidence of what they can do.
那其实这个数位学习历程档案 e-portfolio， 它就是证据嘛，就是证明有实质的证明说学生有哪一些能力。
Employers want to know that our students not only have the degree, but that they can actually perform the competencies.
因为雇主他毕竟想看的不只是那一张文凭而已，他也想要看有哪些证据证明说学生真的有这些能力，他能够展现拿得出来。
So some of our academic programs have students complete assignments that are loaded into a computer system each year.
所以我们有些课程它是会要求学生要做作业，然后每年要上传到这个线上平台的。
And we found that the key is making it easy for the student.
那我们认为说要推动的关键其实就是让整个程序更简单、简化。
So it's not extra assignments for our e-portfolio. We just took the same assignments and made sure that the evidence that they're creating, that learning outcome, is something that can be loaded into the portfolio.
所以其实不是多开作业给学生哦，就是说你今天这门课原本规划的这些作业就在那边，你不是多加的，只是说做完之后学生其实很方便就可以把它上传到云端，成为他的这个数位学习历程，所以学生不会觉得说是额外的负担。
So it's your same classroom assignments. It's just that you're saving your work in a different place so that you can see it every single year.
所以其实是一样的这个课堂作业，只是说你可以把它放到云端，然后每年你都可以去检视自己的学习成果跟进度。
There are some programs at the graduate level or doctoral level that make the e-portfolio a separate project from your normal classes.
那如果是我们硕博班的话，其实也有专门一门课，就是来专门建构你的这个数位学习历程档案的。
And our students say the same thing, that it's very hard and stressful.
那所以像我们今天独立开出来的时候，学生就会觉得哦，压力超大的，因为就是要额外花心力去建构这个东西。
Some schools have taken the e-portfolio and made it a part of the academic transcript. Yes.
所以有一些这个学校他们的这个成绩单上面也会有放上这个 e-portfolio 的这个相关的资料。
Any other questions?
还有其他？
I have a question. Is all portfolio for the undergraduate student or for the junior high school students in America? Is that only for the junior high school, or also they also do their portfolio in their study in the university?
Great question. So e-portfolios really, there was sort of a movement in the higher education in college over the last few years. For high school, many differences in sort of what your final product is. For some high schools, it might be a final paper or a final project. For some, it could be an assessment, and it's the same on the college level as well. So the thing about the e-portfolio, or what we call it a capstone project, like it's capping your academic experience, but it differs everywhere you go.
那是过去几年高等教育圈比较常有这个 e-portfolio， 就是它变成一个主流。那高中的话，其实每个学校的做法不一样，那最后的 e-portfolio 长得也不一样。那主要就是以这种就是期末报告，或者说学习中的报告，或者一个专案，作为这个 e-portfolio 的这个我们所谓的 capstone 这种顶峰式、总整式的这个学习经验。
Any other questions?
还有其他问题吗？
So I think it's a good point because in Taiwan we ask students from high school they need to keep their portfolio to us to graduate and maybe to enter university, but we don't ask students now in the university to do the same thing.
Oh, really? Thank you for sharing that. So we have found that when students are in college, they're taking so many classes, they have a hard time articulating to an employer everything they've learned. So the portfolio helps them do that.
那应该也是一样的另外一个文化差异，因为在美国，因为大学生他们修很多课，那所以这些课就是很难去跟他们未来的雇主讲说，哎，这个我有什么样的技能，所以才需要 e-portfolio 这个数位学习历程档案去帮助他们修。
All right, let's talk a little bit now about understanding the student perspective, because we can understand the global perspective and what the employer wants, but then we have to translate it to students.
所以谈完这个全球的这个就业市场，然后雇主的观点，现在就要来讲这个学生的观点。
So it's very important. In the U.S., our research has actually shown that career coaching is effective, but it is not the most influential activity for career development.
那在美国，其实就有研究指出说，这个生涯教练，就是说职涯教练辅导，它虽然说重要，但是对于学生的整体发展来讲，并不是影响最大的关键。
So, and for our students, the most influential influences are their personal relationships with their family and parents, their faculty relationships in the classroom, and then any extracurricular or work experiences that they participate in.
所以研究就发现说，从就三个影响最大，第一个就是学生他们的人际关系，他们的人际互动；第二个就是他们师生的这个关系；第三个就是他们的课外学习、课外经验、课外活动。
So it's very important that career services not just remain in our office. We have to reach out to faculty and to parents and make sure our students get internships, because those activities will have a greater influence on their careers.
所以我们中心提供的这些职涯辅导服务啊，不只是要在我们中心内，我们也要推广，让父母知道，让老师知道，才能够真的去实际的帮助学生。
So, for my dissertation, I studied what is called career engagement or proactive career behaviors. I wanted to learn why some students come to the Career Center and why some students work very hard in their careers and why others do not.
所以我的这个博士论文其实就是在看说，为什么有些学生他非常有动机要去开创自己的职业，但是有些学生他其实不太会寻求协助。
So, Hershey developed something called the Career Engagement Scale. And the Career Engagement Scale features the behaviors associated with proactively working on your career development.
所以Hershey 这位学者他在2014年就提出这个 Career Engagement Scale， 我们把它暂且称为这个职涯互动的这个量表。它主要是去看说学生他主动去开创职涯的这个程度跟行为。
This is important in American career centers because students are not required to come see us. They opt in to come see us. It's optional.
因为今天有职涯中心，但是我们不是要求所有学生都要来哦，就是你可以来，我们是开放的，对不对？
So, those proactive career behaviors, what are they? A student who is proactive actively seeks to design their professional future.
所以我们就来看几个所谓积极创造职涯的行为。第一个就是非常积极主动的去规划自己的职涯。
Undertakes activities to actually achieve their career goals.
那也会实际的做出一些行动来达成自己的职涯目标。
They care about developing their career.
非常关心自己的职涯发展。
They actively create plans and goals for their future.
那也会主动的去制定这个计划。
They think about their values, interests, and abilities.
而且会去思考自己个人重视的这个价值观啊，我的兴趣，还有我自身的能力。
They spend time collecting information about employers and jobs.
那也会主动的去收集跟雇主、跟工作、跟这个专业发展有关的资讯。
They make contacts with people who can help them professionally.
那也会去跟那些可以在专业上、工作上给他建议、帮助他的人去建立连接，去问问题。
They participate in training to help make themselves better.
那也会参与额外的培训啊，来提升自身的专业能力。
And they take on positions that will help them progress professionally.
那也不会怕说要去担任这种更有挑战性的这个工作，让自己能够进一步成长。
According to Hershey, these are the behaviors of a student who wants to succeed and is engaging in their career development.
那对于 Hershey 这位学者来讲，当你有这些行为的时候，其实学生就展现非常强烈的这个动机，很积极的想要在职场上、职涯上有成功。
So I have two types of students. I have students who want to succeed, but they're not doing any of these behaviors. Then I have students who want to succeed and they're doing some of these behaviors.
所以我看到的学生有两种都很想要成功，但是一种有实质的作为，一种没有。
What I learned in my dissertation about my students, though, this is very interesting. These behaviors, these first two columns, are all internal behaviors. They're the things you do in yourself to learn more about your career development. The behaviors on the last column are all external. They're things you need to do with other people or going other places.
在我的国论里面，我就发现说，其实这些行为啊，可以把它分成两类。最左边两栏的行为是内在的，是你自己要去探问你自己的内心，去思考，然后去推进自己的职业发展。最右边这一栏呢，是需要外在的帮助，需要跟外面的人去互动、去交流的。
So why that's important is because my students are willing to do the internal work, but they're not willing to do the external work. And in America, it takes relationships and contacts and connections to find work.
那我们也发现说，其实很多学生他愿意做这些内在的工作，但他们不太愿意做外在，就是去找东西、去找人这个工作。但在美国，你今天要找到工作，你需要的不外乎是人脉，是这些连接。
For me, this is important because many of my students are low or middle class, and they're wanting to move their families forward. And in America, it's the wealthy or the higher classes that have a lot of professional connections. So it's very important that I move my students from here in the internal work to here doing the external work.
那我们的学生其实有不少是中低收入的家庭背景，所以今天他们要往上流动，像是社会比较高阶层的这个人的话，他们的做法就是有很多专业的人脉，所以我们的做法就是一定要帮助学生去做那些往外在面向去做的事情。
Would you say that your students are the same or that they are comfortable with doing the external work?
那也想问问大家，觉得在台湾观察到的现象大概是怎么样？就是学生他也是都做内在比较多呢，还是他们也愿意做外在的这些行为？ 分享的。
Yes.
So my experience is that in my generation that will be less willing to do the external work. But the young generation, I find that they're actually very proactive. They're looking for internship opportunity. They come to me and ask for advice, even though I'm not from Career Center. They also go out and talk to people from different fields, and they're planning for their future career, maybe from their third, when they just enter the college. So my personal experience that I'm quite optimistic about it.
That is fantastic. So if your students are comfortable not only doing the internal work but the external work, what Hershey says is that they should have a better job attainment outcome.
如果说台湾学生真的就是像刚刚老师分享这样，他们愿意去思考、去规划自己的职涯，同时也很努力的去找一些工作啊，或者说探索职涯的跑道，然后去寻求建议的话，在我们的研究里面会发现说，这些学生其实未来的这个就业前景都是比较好的。
At my campus, we've developed what we call the U-Vault career cycle.
那我们巴尔的摩大学就有这个，我们中心就有推出这个 career cycle 这个职涯循环。
We won an award for it a few years ago. It is a map of career development for our students.
对，那我们在这个几年前也有一个这个卓越模型，就是这是一个卓越模型的这个奖。
I believe PAC offers you 5 steps that students go through. It's very similar. When I saw PAC's 5 steps on yesterday, many of the components are the same as our career cycle.
那我知道说，大学这边有跟这个 PAC 合作，有这个线上辅导咨询、线上职涯这个咨询平台，就有提供这个5步骤，其实跟我们这个概念是这个很类似的。
The career cycle has the internal behaviors and the external. So every colored box is something that we think is an important phase of career development, and every arrow is an action step that we want our student to do.
所以方框的部分就是我们认为说在推动职涯发展很重要的一个阶段。那箭头的部分就是实际要做的行动。
Universally, it is important that students discover their direction and determine what their professional goal is.
那一般我们认为说很重要的，学生要知道自己的这个职涯方向，然后定定自己的职涯目标。
Once the student knows what they would like to do, they need to explore and learn more about their job options.
方向有了之后，就开始去探索有哪些选项，有哪些路可以走。
Once they know for sure what they want to do and they learn more, they need to then learn how to communicate their brand so they can go out and share that with employers.
好，那探索完之后呢，就是要经营自己自身的这个品牌，然后要能够清楚的跟你的未来雇主行销你这个人。
And then once they communicate their brand, they need to go out there and actually job search or internship search and create their opportunities.
那接下来就是真的到这个实际的环境，到第一线求职的市场，或者说去透过实习，然后去学习，然后去创造这个职涯机会。
So on our campus, every student, when they come into our office, we first start with what phase of the career cycle are you in, because those are the action steps that we're going to work on with them.
所以今天学生来我们中心的时候，我们就会先评估说学生目前在哪一个阶段，然后才会知道说，那他们接下来可以采取的行动是什么。
There are 3 major challenges that our students have with our career cycle. The first is the professional goal, really narrowing down what they want to do. A lot of them may know the industry, like healthcare or technology, but they don't know exactly what they want to do in that industry.
那我们在辅导学生的时候遇到的这个3大挑战，第一个就是 这个他们的专业目标太广，学生可能只有一个很模糊的这个想法，说我就是要走医疗业，我就是要走科技业，但是他没有一个很具体的目标。
The second challenge is going out and talking to people to find out more. U.S. students use the internet a lot. Google, their favorite thing. But because there's so much information, they get very overwhelmed.
那第二个就是在资讯收集、资料收集这部分。那我们知道网络就是无远弗届，上面资料超多，所以学生通常找完之后发现就是资讯爆炸的这个状态。
And the third challenge is this document called the resume that all companies want from a student when they apply for the job. Students find it very hard to describe themselves and their strengths and their experiences in a 1 to 2 page document.
第三大这个阻碍就是履历嘛，就是因为你求职的时候都要交履历嘛，那学生就是没有办法在很简短的1-2页的篇幅里面好好的说明我自身的优势，我过去的这个学经历。
So we spend a lot of time with our students in those 4 phases and teaching them the action steps.
所以我们中心就是主要就是去告诉学生有这4个这个阶段，然后有哪一些这个具体的行动。
So for discover your direction, this is the action step. We have a tool where our students have to write out their professional goal.
所以像这个工具，就是我们来帮助学生了解，去找出自己的这个职业、自己的专业发展目标是什么。
We want them to be comfortable articulating what their future career will be.
就是要帮助学生清楚的知道我未来的职业目标、职业之路是长什么样子。
For exploring the world of work, once they learn about their industry, we want them to be able to go out and do what we call a professional pitch or an elevator speech. In the U.S., this is a 30-second promo of yourself and who you are, what your major is, and what you want your future career to be.
那在探索这个阶段，就是你了解大概这个产业的生态之后，我们就会希望学生能够去做这个 elevator pitch， 就是说30秒内很快的这个自我介绍，你要告诉别人说，你是谁，你的专长是什么，然后你的这个学经历等等，去行销自己。
For students who've not had a lot of training in public speaking or who can be very shy, this is an important part of the process for them to actually practice introducing themselves and their job target to employers and to their professional network.
有些学生他们就是比较害羞内向，然后可能也不太喜欢这个公开演说、公开演讲。那这个阶段就非常的重要，因为你未来面试的时候，你能够清楚的表达自己、介绍自己，就是很重要的事情。
We will even have our students record themselves practicing their professional pitch.
我们这边也会请学生就是把自己自我介绍的时候录影起来，然后不断的去改善改进这样子。
And then for communicating your brand, we have students fill out this sheet that pulls everything together, their goal, their pitch, and then we give them a checklist of other things they need to work on, such as updating their resume and creating a LinkedIn account and practicing their interviewing skills.
那在建构个人品牌，就是行销自我这部分我们这张学习单就是里面就写到，就统整前面的东西，所以不只写说你的职业发展的目标，然后你的这个优势在哪里，下面还有一个这个清单，就是例如说，你是不是有，例如说更新你的履历啊，其他等等的都做到了。
So many of our students, while they are completing their classes, some of the classes on our campus require a resume, and our staff will come in and help train them. Some classes require a practice interview, and our staff will come in and help train them.
所以这边清单里面就有，例如说要更新你的自我履历啊，你要练习这个面试啊等等。那我们职涯中心都有同仁可以协助学生做这件事情。
We think it's important to not always make career development an extra thing the student has to do that causes stress, but to bring it to the classroom.
那我们的主要的做法也是说，不要让造成学生额外的这个负担，而是把它做成课内的一环。
Some of our faculty members even offer these as assignments and they get a grade for coming to our office or bringing us into the classroom and helping the student with their resume, and then the resume is graded by the faculty member.
那我们甚至有特别这个，比如说履历撰写课啊，然后来帮助学生，告诉他们说有哪一些这个履历撰写的这个技巧，然后帮助他们评分，然后分析他们的履历见解的概念。
And then the last action step is the transition plan. We believe in lifelong learning. So we always want our students to understand, even once you get your dream job, like as we like to call it, you still need to be thinking about your future steps.
那再来，我们认为说 career 它其实可以是职业，也可以是生涯。那所以我们会认为说，学生除了找到自己梦想工作之外，不是就没了，你要去想你人生这一生生涯怎么去规划。
Let's take a 5-minute break here.
那我们是不是先休息5分钟？谢谢。
Before we take a break, can we take a photo together? Yes. 我们可以不好意思，我们照一张合照，好不好？谢谢。对对对，可不可以麻烦大家一下，然后我们就大家就休息一下。Sure, of course. 不好意思啊。你可不可以来大名字来先看看就是 ？1, 2, 3. Got it. Okay. Thank you. 谢谢。
Hopefully this is the content you wanted, that's something to hear.
蛮好的，因为至少业务力，还有10年前，我找到大学，然后
这个 system 重点，跟着他做这个情况。
这样讲，这个好像也不错啊。年底就结婚。
就是我想表达这个地点是原剧场。
那还是你之间的。
我刚才好有气质哦。
online 或者是我写在 stream 然后连着这样子。
那我们这样会简单。
没有很直播，我就那就平台或者是 live stream 就可以了。就是串流吧，就是直播 STREAMING， 这是我一个新的名字。STREAMING stream 就是对。
还很久。
或者是 online 也可以。如果你要点连接，可以写 live stream， 然后或者是那就写 online。老师，你这3小时就跟他说6000块。
太多了吧？你太多了。
就差不多是付费的公馆。
我其实本来是要学生现在在楼上做其他名字。
哦，是哦。
对，这是盖章的其他名字，我正在做，我等一下。
他去偷看一下。
对，我等一下去偷看一下，然后可以带下来大家知道。
那老师，他们在做这边可以找点这个记录。如果是老师下次有看到，
我刚上有学校
也是一个，对，如果他就是
我在马上就是没有自己有。
对啊，就是这样，你就马上就猜得到，让我不要现实，就是这个意思。
应该要把它带入下。
我自己负责说。
对啊，已经做2次了。
对啊，就是很好玩。那他们如果刚好去到他们赚成品，他们自己拍照本上也可以。我等好一点，我说了，我想高点。
跟这组不是在学校首页吗？学校不是各校学的那个吗？没有啊。点进去放在就是小记录，你要哪个？
我要他们做好那个我做一下。
更结束吧。不然你查那个校园资讯啊。生活组旁边。
我
相符的一个活动，这样子还有加花香。
看起来像一点都不想睡觉。
有一点，有点像。你看起来我很累啊。好像是后来就还不会还在
时间差不多可以开始30分了，好不好？
More slides to share, and then we'll open it up for some Q&A. So let's talk about specifically working with students and how that's changing for us as educators.
那接下来就我们剩下几张这个影片，那讲完之后就开放这个 Q&A。那接下来要谈的就是怎么样去帮助学生。
Technology has had a really big impact on how students learn and take in information. So something that we've noticed a change in how we teach and how we work with students is really what I like to call teaching from the back of the room.
那其实科技已经改变了我们今天学生学习的方式啊，吸收获取资讯的方式，那教跟学的模式也非常不一样哦。那所以我现在喜欢称它说就是坐在后面看学生这样子的教学方式。
So the old model is really that I'm the teacher, I'm the educator, the career professional, and I'm higher, and you're the student and you're down there, and that learning is one way.
那过去的这个教学方式就是老师在上面高高在上，就是在上面教课讲什么，然后学生在上面背短题，教学是一个单向。
The new model is really that it's a learning community. We're all in it together. And that because our students have access to so much information, we can allow them to teach each other, we can learn from them, and we're all just trying to move forward together.
那现在就是比较像右边，大家是一个学习团体的这个概念。学生他们不只是同侪之间可以互相学习，学生其实他们有这么多的资讯，有时候也是可以让我们学习的对象，所谓教学相长。
It's sort of, we like to say, either you're the sage on the stage or the guide on the side.
所以这两个模式，一个就是像在台上的这个孔老夫子这样圣贤模式教书，那另外一个就是你跟学生是伙伴的方式共同前进。
Excellent. So because of this, we're very careful in the U.S. to understand our scope of service when working with students with career decision. Many career service providers are not what we call clinical mental health professionals in the U.S.
那我们在美国，其实在提供学生职涯辅导或是咨询的时候，就必须要去比较特别有一些几个重点要注意。
So if a student has a mental health need, we send them to a licensed counselor who can provide counsel and diagnosis and treatment plans. We don't provide any diagnosis or treatment plans.
所 所以我们在提供这个职涯辅导或是咨询的时候，因为如果这个学生他有的是心理咨询相关的需求、心理辅导相关的需求，我们就会转介给这个专业人士，我们不做任何的诊断，不做任何的这个处理。
So our goal is providing guidance and expertise in career development to our students.
那我们做的就是运用自身在职涯发展领域的这个专业知识，去提供学生引导，那同时在必要的时候去转介。
In addition, in the U.S., there are a lot of mental health concerns, struggles with anxiety, depression, neurodiversity.
那同时，在美国，心理议题也是一个很常被拿出来讨论的事情，例如说这个焦虑啊、紧张啊、压力等等。
So there's a new movement that teaches educators when you're working with a student, especially one with challenges to employment, that we demonstrate empathy and not sympathy.
所以，身为老师，身为教育人士，我们在面对学生有这种求职焦虑、职涯焦虑的时候，很重要的就是你要展现的是同理，而不是同情。
We see empathy as more empowering. We see sympathy as more saying that you're sorry for someone.
那同理其实就是我跟你站在一起，然后我跟你一起去克服面对这个难题。那同情就是我有一点高度的从上往下，觉得你这样子遭遇，你有这样的遭遇真的是很可惜，这样很遗憾这样。
When you're having career conversations with a student, and the helping relationship, building rapport is really important. And sympathy drives a disconnect. Empathy drives connection.
所以在提供学生这些职涯咨询的时候，其实要能够给学生支持，这是很重要，支持才能够创造一种跟你在一起连结的感觉。
So we try to listen to our students. So sort of like you mentioned, when students are given the portfolio, they feel extra stress. They feel it's extra work. So we try to listen with empathy to say, well, what can we do to help alleviate that? Or how can we empower you in that situation?
所以去倾听跟同理就很重要。因为刚刚有老师说到说，学生做这个数位档案压力很大，那我们就要先去了解好，我们理解他这种焦虑的感受，那问说我们能够提供什么样的支持来减轻这种焦虑。
We don't want to tell our students what to do. We don't want to say, oh, I feel so sorry for you. This is what you should do. We want to say, wow, that sounds like that's really hard. How can we help you move forward?
但是我们不是要跟学生说这个就是大家都要做的你就做就对了，而是要，然后也不是告诉学生，那你接下来怎么做，而是询问他说你需要什么样的这个支持，那同时给予同理。
This is an empathy map. It's a tool I use with my team, and basically it helps you walk through when you're working with a student that has challenges, how to best help them.
那这个是我们会用的这个同理的这个画布，基本上就是在我们提供协助学生的时候呢，就会经过这些步骤，然后了解说他们需要哪一些支持。
So when we have students who have challenges, we'll ask ourselves, who are we empathizing with? What do they need to do? What do they see? What do they say? What do they do? What do they hear? And what do they feel?
那这个是帮助我们自己身为这个职涯辅导专业人士的一个工具，所以从1到6到7就可以去看说，我们今天要同理的对象是谁，他们需要做的是什么，那他们所看、所说、所做、所听、所思考、所感受的什么，把它记录下来，去培养我们对于学员、对于学生的同理。
So because our students are so diverse, we can't assume we understand how they will experience career development. For some students, it's a very hard process. So instead, we try to use empathy to put ourselves in their shoes so we can help them come up with solutions.
那因为学生非常多元嘛，背景也都不一样，那看待职涯发展的这个观点也不一样，所以我们一定要站在学生的角度，从他们的角度，从他们的视野去看这件事情，然后跟他们一起去想说，可以怎么做。
If you would like a copy of the empathy map, I will send this to Carrie, and we can send this to everyone if you would like a copy of this. It's a great tool.
这个工具我们觉得非常好，如果有需要的话，我们也可以分享给 Carrie， 再分享给各位老师。
Okay, back to strengths. So I'm going to go down the strengths path again. So in my office, we recognize that our students really struggle. We we asked employers about our students, and what they told us is that our students have low confidence.
那接下来要谈的就是优势这件事情。在我们中心，就是学生常常说，求职常常碰壁啊，很多困难。那我们在跟雇主聊天的时候，其实很多雇主都说，学生普遍有自信心不足的问题。
So we use something called Gallup Strengths. You can look up Gallup. Gallup is one of the biggest research organizations in America, and they've created their own assessment that helps students learn their strengths.
那这个是由 Gallup， 它是在美国的一家这个研究市调机构，很大的一个这个牌子。那他们就有提出这个优势的这个方程式。
Gallup says that everyone has natural talents, and if they invest in those talents then become a strength.
那对于 Gallup 来讲，其实这个优势的方程式就是你有天生的这个天赋，你的才能 talent。然后你如果愿意去培养它、投资它 investment， 你就会长出这个 strengths 的优势。
So we offer strengths coaching to our students, where they can talk about what they feel their talents are. We then work with them on ways that they can practice and invest in their talents, so that those talents become strengths.
所以我们中心其实就有提供这种优势培训课程，帮助学生找到他们的天赋，帮助学生去培养、练习他们这个天赋，让这个天赋成为一种外显的优势。
I will give the link to Gallup Dependable Strengths to Carrie, and she can send it to you if you'd like to take the assessment yourself. Because again, it's not enough in America if our students graduate. They have to be able to articulate to the employer what their strengths are and what they can do and what they've learned in school.
这个相关的这个优势评估工具，我可以再跟各位分享。因为在美国，对于我们来讲，学生其实他必须要知道自己的优势，然后也要能够跟雇主去清楚的表达我的长才是什么。
This is important because we have a disconnect right now in America where students can't explain who they are to employers. And so then employers have a hard time finding strong candidates.
因为我们现在国内面临的问题就是学生他不知道怎么表达我的长处、我的长才、我的优势，那雇主就也不知道要把你怎么样放在哪里，怎么样试才，怎么样试性。
This is also a great model if you have any students who have had a hard life or maybe come from a poor family. This can be a very positive tool. As a matter of fact, its roots are in positive psychology.
那如果说我们协助的学生有一些是家境比较不好的，其实这也是一个非常好的工具，因为它就是奠基于正向心理学，可以帮助学生培养他的自信心。
Because sometimes students who have had struggles see themselves as bad, but struggles sometimes make you stronger. This model teaches them how to see their struggles as a positive that made them stronger.
因为这些可能家境比较不好、比较弱势的学生，常常会觉得自己比人家矮一截。那这个工具可以帮助他们了解，说我今天面临的很多挫折、很多不好的遭遇，其实会让我自己变得更坚强、更有韧性。
I think it's important that around the world, if you go to any student on any day and say, "What are your strengths?" Our students should be able to say it automatically.
我自己是认为说，不管在哪个国家、哪个地方，今天你问一个小朋友，你问一个学生说你的优势是什么，他应该能够马上回答才对。
We need a workforce of incoming workers who know exactly what they bring to the labor market.
而且这个就业市场要能够蓬勃，要能够强壮。其实每个员工、每一个劳动者都应该要很清楚的知道自身的优势在哪里。
So as uncomfortable as it may be, I challenge you all the next time you're in a classroom or you're meeting with a student, say, "Hey, could you tell me what your top strength or your top 3 strengths are?"
所以就像稍早跟大家提问的问题一样，所以希望说之后如果跟自己学生互动的时候，也可以问一下学生，你认为你最大的优势、最大的优点是什么？
Now some students will really struggle with that. So we use something called stories or a narrative approach for the students that really struggle with that. And how we do that is we say, tell us about a time that you are very proud of or where you feel that you had your greatest accomplishment.
那当然，有些学生他会一时答不出来，所以我们也会用引导他们说故事或是叙事的这种方式。例如说，就请学生分享一段他们很自豪的经验，或者觉得自己过去最大的成就是什么。
We listen to what they say, and then we take notes, and from that, we start to pull out strengths, things that they demonstrated in that situation that help to prove what they can do in the labor market. So there are two ways that we can actually help our students with their strengths. They can take the Gallup test, or we can use those stories. There's even an acronym for one called STAR.
那如果说我们是以这种引导学生分享经验的话，我们就是在过程中倾听，然后去笔记、去分析学生在这个经验里面他展现的优势跟能力是什么。所以就是两种方式，一来就是一个就是邀请学生去做那个 Gallup 的评测，第二个就是请他们分享自身的经验。
STAR means S-T-A-R. The S is for the situation, the T is for the task, the A is for the action, and the R is for the results.
那如果是请学生说故事的话，我们有一个简单的这个步骤，就是 STAR。S 就是情况，学生说明那个情境是什么，然后 T task 他们在那个情境中做的事情，那个任务是什么，目标是什么。A action 学生面对这个情境，面对这个任务，他做的行为是什么，然后最后 R result 最后的结果是什么。
So you can have a student, for example, who's having a hard time articulating their strengths, but they did community service last summer, and you'll say, what was the situation? And they might say, I volunteered at the community center. And then you'll say, what did you do? The task, T. And they'll tell you what they did. And the action, the A, the action they took. And then you'll say, well, what were the results of that action? That's the STAR method. And that's how you can help them to learn their strengths if they have trouble articulating them.
所以假设我们今天问学生说你的优点是什么，他一时讲不出来，但是他说他去年夏天去做这个志工，你就可以用这个 STAR 的方式来引导他分享。你可以请他说，那这个情境是什么？你在当志工的时候做了什么事情？他可能就跟你说，我在社区中心去当志工，我做了哪些事，做了哪些 action， 哪些行动。那你再接下来问他说，那请问结果 result 是什么？从这个事件，从这个经验就能爬出他可能有哪一些优点。
Okay. The strengths-based approach helps to build two things in our students: self-efficacy and self-esteem.
那这种找出学生优势的做法，它可以帮助学生提升两件事。第一个就是 self-efficacy 自我效能，第二个就是自尊。
Years ago in America, when you found your first job, your employer invested in you. Now, it's up to the job seeker to invest in themselves.
那过去我们会认为说，你今天找到第一份工作就是你的老板愿意要去投资你，愿意要去培养你。但是我们现在的看法是，你自己身为求职者要先投资你自己。
So there are two things students have to come with to the employer: their self-efficacy, or their level of confidence and belief about what they can do, and then their self-esteem, their confidence in their own self-worth.
所以今天学生在求职的时候，他需要有两个特质，第一个就是自我效能，他要能够相信自己能做到，相信自己有这样的能力。那第二个就是自信心，对自己的自尊、自我价值。
Employers are no longer responsible for helping to build your self-esteem and your self-worth and what you can bring to their company. Students have to come to the company with those two things.
所以现在不能期待老板要帮你培养这两件事。你今天去求职，你面试的时候，你就要这两个一定是必备的东西。
So the strengths-based approach helps to build that self-esteem and helps to build that self-efficacy, especially in the students who have had challenges.
所以，如果说是学生他过去常常在求职上有一些困难、有一些阻碍的话，这个方法就能够帮助学生建构他们的自我效能跟这个自尊。
And then there is a theory that most college educators use in higher education in the U.S. called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs tells us that students can't get to a place of what we call self-actualization or purpose until they've gone through the 4 steps below.
那其实，在高等教育系也提供这个职涯咨询的时候，我们常引用的就是马斯洛的这个需求理论嘛。所以就是5个这个层次，你一定要先把这个生理啊、安全等等都满足了之后，才能够到最高的自我实现。
So as educators in the United States, we believe it's our job to help move barriers out of our students' way so that they can get to that place of purpose.
所以美国大学就是希望帮学生排除这一路上的重重阻碍，然后帮助他们顺利达到最高的这个自我实现的地步。
I'll give you some examples. First is that physiological needs. Some of our students, we call them income limited. They may have trouble getting food. So on our campus, we also have a pantry.
所以以这个最低的这个生理需求来讲，有一些学生他连温饱都有问题，那我们学校就有提供这些弱势学生供餐。
Some of our students may not be able to afford professional clothes, so my office has a career closet with free, gently used professional clothes that are donated.
那有一些学生他是没有钱买那种专业的这个正装，那我们学校就有提供那种2手的正装的这个衣服，可以给学生这样子。
So the thought is if the student is struggling with physiological needs, they're not going to be able to have a career conversation with you because they're worried.
所以如果说他们学生在生理需求这边没有办法满足的话，他自然没有办法再往上走。
Next is the feeling of safety and security, which for our students might mean making sure that they have housing or a part-time job while they're in school.
所以生理这部分 cover 之后，下一个就是安全嘛。那安全指的就是有地方住，或者说相关的安排都有做好这样子。
So some students have to work in America in order to get their degree. I was one of those students. I worked 2 jobs while I was in college.
那有些学生他就是要半工半读才能完成学业。那我自己就是这样，在念书的时候就打2份工。
In America, you either pay for college out of pocket, you get scholarships, or you get loans from the government that you have to pay back.
那在美国的话，你今天要么就是透过奖学金，然后加上自己的钱去念完，要么就是学贷。
To help with that, some students work on campus or get a part-time job while they're also in school.
所以有些学生、有些同学，他就是在学校打工，然后去付学费。
So once they're safe and secure, there's also a need for love and belonging, basically positive relationships in their life as well.
那生理安全，再来一个就是爱与归属感，就是他有没有正向的这个人际关系。
This is why we use the career community model, where we assign every student to someone in their industry. We also strongly encourage our students to join a student group or some sort of professional association so that they have a community to support them.
所以在我们中心提供这些咨询的时候，我们就会帮这个学生找一位，例如说是业界的这个业师的角色去提供辅导，那也非常鼓励学生参加一些同侪的社团啊、专业的社群，去培养这些人际关系。
And then there's the self-esteem piece, understanding who they are and their strengths, which then will lead them into self-actualization, living a life of purpose and meaning.
那再来自尊的部分，其实奠基于学生是不是了解自己的优势，了解这些之后，他才能往自我实现去走，然后活出一个这个有意义的这个人生。
Maslow basically is saying that we can't help our students launch successful careers if we don't also address these 4 needs that they have while they're going through their education.
所以对马斯洛来讲，今天学生要有成功的这个职涯，更长远的这个生涯，你前面4个都要先把它 cover 到，他才能够去做这件事情。
We also in America have a crisis where people have jobs that they are not satisfied or happy with.
在美国的一个常见的问题就是，很多人对于自己的工作是不满意的。
Gallup does a lot of study on workplace satisfaction, and we are realizing that it's important for students to do this work and for us to support them so they get to self-actualization, where the hope is that they're finding work that they enjoy doing.
那 Gallup 的研究，它也就是有针对职场的满意度去做调查。那研究结果让我们觉得说，除了就前面一定要帮助学生，然后让他们真的找到自我实现，找到自己热爱的工作。
And then there's what we call the brain-based approach to career development, which incorporates neuroscience into the career development process.
那刚刚讲的就是以优势为主，帮助学生找出他的潜能，找出他的优势。但另一派呢，强调的是结合神经科学，去帮助学生找到他们职业发展的路。
So brain-based learning says we have to really understand when it comes to career development how students learn.
所以在这部分就是讲比较结合脑科学、神经科学，去了解这个学生他的学习方式、学习模式是什么。
So when we're developing career services, we want to make sure that we're thinking about the learning style of our clients and assessing their learning style so that we can deliver our services effectively.
所以，如果是以这种方式的话，今天在提供职涯咨询的时候，我们就要了解学生是哪一型的学习者，他的学习方式是什么，然后来提供这个咨询跟建议。
Some students might want to read about their career on your website. Others might want to come and hear an alumni panel.
有些学生他可能是喜欢就是阅读里面的资讯，有些学生他喜欢参加实体活动，听这个业师亲自分享。
Some students might want to practice interviewing with you in your office. Others might want to do it online using AI.
那可能有些学生他喜欢实体的活动，喜欢手做 hands-on 这种体验。那有一些可能是喜欢线上啊，用 AI 啊等等的工具。
The technique will be more effective if it meets the learning style of the student.
所以这有点类似因材施教的概念。如果能够符合学习者、学生他的这个学习模式，去订定量身打造的这个方案，学习的成效会更好。
In America, we say there are 4 learning styles based on research: VARK, V-A-R-K.
那在美国呢，学习的这个方式，他们分成4类，分别用 V-A-R-K 来代表。
Visual, auditory, reading, and kinesthetic.
就是 V-A-R-K 就是视觉型、跟听觉型、跟这个阅读型、跟这个动觉，就是体感型。
So our services have to meet students at all of those, in all of those styles.
所以如果以这种方式的话，我们就去判断说，学生他是哪一种型，然后符合他们的需求。
All right, I think that was the last slide on there. Let's see. Yep, so what questions can I answer? Any questions?
好，那今天的 Lakeisha 的分享就大概到这边。想问在座老师有没有任何的问题？
问一下，就是现在职涯学生都会想知道，我到底要在把我的优势加分，还是我要去了解我的弱势去加分？就是我觉得时间要怎么去分配？
Great question. So according to the strengths-based approach, you will do better if you work on strengthening your strengths versus focusing on trying to improve something that you're not good at.
根据我们的研究发现说，其实比较起来的话，学生应该着重在加强自己的优势，这个放在第一顺位。那第二顺位才会去看改善自己的弱势。
Other questions?
还有没有其他的问题？
So something I like to do before I end my talks is find out what your biggest takeaway is. So I'd like to go around the room to each of you, and if you could tell me the concept that you enjoyed the most.
那我演讲最喜欢的，通常最后活动就是请每一位这个学员来分享自己今天最大的收获。所以接下来我们是不是就请每位老师分享一下自己今天最大的心得或是收获，觉得最有受用的观念可以。
Let me start right here.
前有在东吴大学那边生涯发展中心那边服务过哦，那所以我对这个今天老师的影响特别感受蛮深的啊，然后也知道说该怎么样子走出自己的路来。以往我只有那个 talent 这一块，但是我一直找不到 investment， 所以我没有 strength。
Thank you. Yes, yes, ma'am.
谢谢。谢谢。
我今天来听这个演讲是最大的收获，就是我本来以为美国的学生可能会更自信，或者是说他们更愿意表达，就是比较积极的这一块。但因为台湾的学生大部分的印象就是说比较被动，或者是说就是没有什么对于自己的生涯没有什么想法这样。但我觉得主要就是说，美国跟就是现在的状况好像有一点就是类似的问题这样。所以就是也了解到，就是说，美国那边可以怎么去进行？那对台湾的这个学生的帮助是什么的
Thank you. It is a universal issue. When I was in Italy, the same thing with their graduate students of being uncertain about their career path.
其实真的是一个这个全球的问题，就算在意大利，硕博生也是会不知道自己的职业怎么走这样子。
非常感谢老师今天的分享。那今天听老师讲很多的那个理论的话，那让我们直接联想到就是说，跟朋友或者是跟同学在互动之间，常常那个目标性不够，就是因为老师刚刚不是有讲说，如果在就是跟同学互动当中，有时候同学看到目标性不够的话，其实好像自己给他的帮忙没有自己想象中的那么大，那可能有没有一些老师在实际操作过程当中可以就是分享给我们说，假设这学生他自己来的时候，他其实也对他自己不太那么清楚的情况之下，我们到底第一个步骤或者是什么可以帮助他这样？比较想要知道就是老师有没有这方面建议分享。
Absolutely, great question. So with Discover Your Direction, we do several things. The first is for a student, we call them undecided, we do an assessment.
对于这种没想法的学生，就先做评测。
So our assessments include something called the Strong Interest Inventory, or the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or the Gallup Strengths.
所以就是像是那个时事的职业兴趣量表啊，或者是说那个16型人格分析，然后跟刚刚那个 Gallup 的那个兴趣评估，都可以先让学生先去实测。
So there are three lenses that those assessments offer. The Strong Interest Inventory, the theory says if a student figures out what they like, they will be motivated to pursue it.
那时事量表它的这个概念是说，就是当学生会比较有动机去追求他喜欢、有兴趣的东西。
The Myers-Briggs says if you understand your personality, you can match your personality to certain careers.
那16型人格的话，就是根据你的人格去告诉你适合的职业是什么。
And then Strength says if I learn what I'm good at innately, I can strengthen that and then use those qualities and match them to a career.
那 Gallup 的话，这个优势分析就是说，你找出你的优势之后，你就可以进一步的强化，然后去看这个优势可以 apply 到哪一个工作。
So the assessments help where the students can't articulate.
所以当今天学生就是完全没想法的时候，我们就透过这些评估工具来帮忙。
谢谢老师。然后其实我回馈跟前一位同仁有点类似，就是因为有的时候学生来找我讨论职涯上面的问题，可是他们的目标很多很简单，然后没有办法把它简化起来。然后我觉得今天听完之后就知道有哪一些替代的方式，或者怎么样引导他们去
叙事上面告诉我们说，他们其实优势在哪里，然后在一步一步帮助他。
谢谢。
如果我在毕业的时候，我在大学读大学的时候能够知道你职业发展的话，应该会非常有帮助。这是我最大的感想。
I agree
真的。
Thank you for your introduction and sharing. I think it helps a lot. I think it helped me most is the Gallup consulting model. Tell us how to help students to explore their talent and to try to invest their talents and then become their strength. I think it's great. And the stars. I think it clearly show how to help students to explore what have they done, what's their action, what action do they take, the result. I think because we are counselors, many of counselors in this school, so I think give us a very clear and concrete picture how to help students. But I also want to share because Taiwanese students, because of the culture, the education system, I think maybe it's still kind of different from United States students. But I'm also surprised, like the colleagues say. I thought United States students will be more confident and more clear about what they want to do because your education encourages students a lot to explore when they are little, when they are young, encourage them to be themselves. But in Taiwan, it's not the case. I don't know if you know this, because in Taiwan we pay so much attention on tests, getting a good score, high score in different tests, and get into a very good school, higher education. Anyway, just parents and teachers pay a lot of attention to this. So I think the学历 credential. So I think it's hard for Taiwanese students to really have a chance to explore who they are, what they really want, when they are young. Like in high school, our students get a test all day long. Test, endless test, exam. So I think, although now there is some transformation, try to do in high school, but I think because of the cultural, it's still hard for them to really get a chance to get a space to explore themselves.
Thank you for sharing that. I think because you say you're surprised, one of the things to remember is when you see or hear about the U.S., oftentimes you're hearing about the wealthy, right? When you see what's on TV, you're seeing people who are doing very well, but there are millions of other people who are not in the U.S., whose schools are not as good, and who aren't given the same opportunities as what you may see on TV. So we have both. We have students who come from very wealthy families who are given great opportunities at a very young age and are confident, and they know what they want to do, but then we have just the same amount who aren't given those opportunities, who are not getting good education. We have communities where reading is still a great struggle in the literacy. So that's one thing. Then, in America, we tell our kids, you can be anything. You can do anything. Land of the dreams, but we don't tell them how. So they have big, big dreams. You can pick what you want. It doesn't have to be what your family wants for you, because we're very individualistic and not collectivistic, but we don't give you the steps. We don't fill it in for you. So once they get to us in college, we have to fill that in for them, because all they know is, I want to get way down there, but they have no clue oftentimes how to get there, especially if their parents didn't go to college or don't have like business careers or professional careers.
I agree a lot, but I think when talking and thinking about the career counseling, career consultation, we need to take in socioeconomic status into consideration. I think it's very important, because I think socioeconomic status influences people so much. Not just their education level or their gender, like in the United States, maybe race or ethnicity. But I think socioeconomic status also be often being ignored.
Exactly. So an example of that is I do a business etiquette dinner for my students, because some of them come from families where they may have gone to very expensive restaurants and traveled, and then others have never left our city. So they've never been to a fancy restaurant. So if they go on an interview and they need to eat and be in that sort of scenario, they don't know what to do. So I provide that kind of training for those students to address the socioeconomic differences.
我现在可能比较长，The most make me impressive of that speech is the expectation from the import to students, because most of our students, they are very dependent. So you told us the most expectation from import is make decisions quickly and solve problems skill. And I think lots of our students have no enough experience to learn how to make decisions or solve problems themselves. They always depend on teacher or the 就是说依赖他们的学长姐告诉他们 how to solve the problem 之类的。So I think that is maybe our culture or in our school, lots of students so afraid of they are not good enough. Yes, they're afraid to make mistakes. Yes.
So we see that a lot with our very wealthy students, where there's a lot of pressure to find a job that is considered high status, a doctor or a lawyer or a politician. They tend to be very anxious about their success. You know, in our grading system, they want the A's or the 100. They are the students who won't just have one internship, they'll do 5 internships. You know, and they may struggle with what we call perfectionism. I don't know if you all use that term, but this is sort of a psychological state where everything has to be right. So what we're doing is you'll find some books that talk about this concept of failing forward, to help our students understand that sometimes you don't get it all right, but if you learn from that, you're failing forward. So even your mistake can still help you get to your career goal.
最后用中文做一个结语哈，因为我觉得对。
赶快让我们team有事情做。
先非常谢谢谢谢老师分享。我们刚好下礼拜有一些课程，我也想把这些讯息跟学生分享，因为我觉得从大1、大2开始学应该比较有用，对。到我们这个年龄可能都已经定型了。对，然后我在刚刚的这个分享当中，我非常喜欢有一张是那个 scope of service to pictures， 这样。我想这个我们在教育的第一线，大家都是面临到跟我们一样的状况，因为我们在以前我们应该是靠左边的老师，对啊，我们觉得学校的老师是高高在上的，这样，所以才会想来学校当老师。但是我们现在面临的状况是我们是在右边的状况，我们是跟学生的这个 boundary 是越来越模糊，然后特别是ChatGPT 出来之后，对，我越来越怀疑我自己为什么要去拿这个学位的，因为有很多事情其实你可以去很多地方学，对啊，所以说就我跟我朋友最近一直在想这个问题，就是以后就是我们一直都是在教我们的学生要 be professional， 要非常专业。那我们发现，在我们学校的学生变得非常专业之后，他就是进入高科技的工程师当一个好的工程师。对，那可是永远他赚的钱不会比他最上面的老板多。那我们有没有办法去教他们去当一个老板？就是这个 scope 不是只有professional而已。对，那可能这个跟他的 career 可能会比较不一样。好，谢谢大家。
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming today, for listening. Thank you to Pat for setting this up. I am on LinkedIn. If you find me on LinkedIn, connect with me. I post about many of the places I go and what I'm learning about career development. I'll also share my email that Carrie can send out if you want any of the resources that I shared today. Thank you for hosting me. I appreciate it.
非常谢谢大家参加这个今天的讲座，也谢谢 Pat 主办这一次的这个活动。我有那个 LinkedIn 的那个资讯，所以大家可以在 LinkedIn 找到我的话，也欢迎发讯息给我，或是用 email 联络我。那我在 LinkedIn 上面也会分享职涯相关的这个讲座啊，或是文章等等。再次感谢大家，谢谢。